Good afternoon, IBPOVs. It's your girl Kendra Day, and I'm back with another video. And today we are going to talk about French, specifically French 5. There are different levels that comes before French 5, but first we're going to start is what is French 5. French 5 is basically a really high level of French. So you have French 1, French 2, French 3, French 4, and French 5. Before you go into French 5, you will do French 4, but you will skip French 3. So it's like your freshman year, you do French 1, which is like beginner level. And then your sophomore year, you'll do French 2, which is like in the middle, immediate, something like that. And then French 3, you will skip that level and you will be immediately moved up to French 4 your junior year, since that's when you officially become an IB student. And then which you will learn how to basically you'll be writing, reading, listening to French, and then you will also be trying to speak French as well. And then French, once you get into French 5, which is your last year, which is of course your senior year, French 5 is a little more difficult, I would say. This is the same as you would take with Spanish as well. You do have options of taking French or Spanish. It's the same levels for Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, Spanish 4, Spanish 5. They both have the same requirements, just a different language. You would skip Spanish 3, of course, but for French 5 and Spanish 5, and once you get to this class for your senior year, it expected that you're supposed to know how to write 250 words to 400 words in French or Spanish, answering a prompt, and you have different text types. So there's, an email, a letter, there's a social media post, a flyer, an article, a report, an interview. You will have different things to write about. You have to know, and your grammar is supposed to be up to par. Like, you gotta have good vocabulary in French or Spanish, or good make sure your grammar is good in French or Spanish. That's knowing all the tenses, which is past tense, conditional, future tense, the past participle, and subjunctive. You will have to know those in order for your grammar to be good. When you are writing or doing your oral or reading comprehension, you cannot use English. Do not use English at all. You have to use French, and you have to know how to be able to answer the questions in French. And so, with doing that, in French or Spanish, there is a lot to expect. You have to be able to read French or Spanish, or write French or Spanish, listen to French or Spanish, and read French or Spanish. You don't have to take both classes. They won't let you take both classes. They'll give you either or, depending on what you choose your freshman year. And it is required. It's not just an IB requirement, but it is a graduation requirement that you do take a foreign language. So you cannot opt out of that, unfortunately. You will, in French or Spanish, you have 4 exams. The first exam is your oral, which is you speaking for 15 minutes in French or Spanish. Meaning the first 3 to 4 minutes of your oral, you will look at a picture, you will describe the picture in French or Spanish. You will describe what you see, like any colors, numbers, if they're happy, if there's persons, how many. And then the next 5 to 7 minutes, You will answer questions in French or Spanish regarding to the picture. Sometimes the picture relates to you personally, and you're able to answer personal questions about the picture that ties back into you, which puts in your personal connection. And then the last few minutes, like the last 5 minutes, um, the last 5 minutes of your oral, you will be answering random questions. Like, it's some questions that you may not even know how to answer, but you can say no, or you don't understand the question, but you obviously say it in French or Spanish. So your teacher will allow you to pick some topics that's not related to your picture that you think you can understand, that you can understand and that you think you can answer. And the last 5 minutes of your oral, she will ask you those questions. You only get 2 no's, and your teacher will only want you to use 1 no, of course. That's if you don't understand the question, you can just say no. But those questions, you will have to talk for 5 minutes about random questions and random topics that doesn't regard your picture, but it regards you personally. Like, say if you like sports, it will be about sports. Say if you like reading, or if you like school, the questions could be around that. But she will have you pick different subjects so you know what you want to talk about and what you think you can talk about. And then you have your writing exam, which is this is all at the end of the year as well. Your oral, you'll take your oral in March of whatever year you have. And your writing exam is at the end of the year. You will sit down for an hour and 15 minutes. They will give you 3 prompts to choose from, and each of them have 3 different text types. You have to try to pick the correct text type, and then try to get the message correctly, and your grammar has to be on point. If you get the correct text type, you automatically get 6 points. You need at least 11 points to get at least a 4 to pass. And if you get 250 words to 400 words, that will add a point onto your grammar, which would really help you in the end if you don't get that text type. You will have time to look over your prompts. You can write on your prompt paper. I don't recommend writing on the paper that you're going to actually write your I would say your essay, but it's not really an essay. But you can write all over the prompt types. You can take notes as well. And then you have your reading exam, which is right after your writing exam. It's on the same day because they are short. They're short exams. And the reading exam, I believe, is 1 hour. 1 hour and 45 minutes. That give you enough time to read over the text and answer them. You'll be given 4 texts to read from, and you will have to. And each text has their own section of questions, so you don't have to worry about that. They have their own section, and for each of those texts, you have to time perfectly in order to answer all the questions for all the texts, and you'll have an hour 45 minutes to answer all of that. And then on the last day, you will have your listening oral. This is more difficult for others because it is really hard to comprehend French or Spanish without actually seeing what they're saying. So you'll be listening to an oral without actually seeing like the words across the screen. You will have to listen. It's like maybe a 2 to 3 minute conversation they will play, and you'll have to listen and try to jot down as much information as you can. Also, there will be a picture on your paper. I recommend looking at the picture in order to understand what the listening is going to be about. It will be really helpful in the end. Also, it's very important to pay attention. They will give you 2 minutes at the beginning. They'll give you 4 minutes to go over your questions, and then they'll play the oral. well, they'll play the listening, and then they'll give you 2 minutes to answer as many questions as you can, and then they will play the listening again, and then they'll give you 2 more minutes to answer the questions, and after that, then you go into another oral. I believe they play three listenings, with their three different listenings, and it will let you know when it changes to the second listening or the third listening. Um, why is this important? How does this impact you as an IB student? This is important because in the end, all of these exams will result into you getting your diploma or not getting your diploma. These points do add up, and you have to have 24 points or 24 credits in order to get your IB diploma. And once you get your IB diploma, you automatically get Bright Futures if you live in the state of Florida, obviously. Um, I don't know what the other scholarships are like in other states, but I know in the state of Florida, if you do get your IB diploma, you automatically get your Bright Futures. Also, and how this will impact you as a student, as I stated, it determines whether you get your IB diploma or not. And also, it will look really good on your, not only your school resume, but your work resume as well. Like, hey, I know how to read and write in French. I know how to listen to French. I know how to understand it. I know how to look at it. It'll look really good. But that's all for today. That's all for today, IB POVs. You guys have a good time. Bye.